the 8 limbs of yoga. So this is the philosophical underpinning of the modern postural yoga phenomenon that's gone, international. The Patanjali's Yoga Sutras were, I think, well, they're either compiled, I don't know the word, but they're dated to about 3rd century of the Common Era. Some might say between 150 BCE and 3rd century. So this is way back in time. And one of the sutras I've written above, Yoga's-chitta vritti nirodha. So that yoga is the restraint of the modifications of the mind. The vrittis are the fluctuations of mind. So a way to just say that in a word or two is contemplative calm. So there's a systematic approach to the body and our embodiment, our spirituality that goes beyond the physical, but includes also the physical as we make our way through our different levels of being human. So one here, Light on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. This is what I was introduced first as a yoga teacher trainee. Mr. Iyengar from India, who had spread international modern postural yoga in the 60s. He has written and given commentaries and insights from his own experience. And then another translation is by Barbara Stoller-Miller. This is the one we use in McGill in the Yoga Traditions class. Discipline of Freedom, the Yoga Sutras attributed to Patanjali. And wonderful, accessible read, food for thought if you want to go deeper into svadhyaya. So different ways to approach studying ourselves, whether experientially through physical practices or by reading texts, reading wisdom, reading about wisdom, reading narratives. These are yoga sutras. So sutras being like short poetic aphorisms that link thought and practice and are used to contemplate, to develop wisdom and insight. So let's go into the Patanjali's 8-limbed yoga. I mean, there's other, yoga can be a general word for practices or systems of practice. And so there could be 6-limbed yoga, there can be other yogas, but we're talking about the one from modern postural yoga that's known internationally as Ashtanga yoga. So the 8 limbs, you imagine that as a wheel. There's a wheel with 8 spokes. It's one unit with a central hub. And each spoke or limb of the system is a path to explore your own subjectivity, leading from the outer rim to the inner center. So the limb, what we're familiar with from our yoga mats, is asana, probably very familiar. Most people are familiar with this. Physical posture practice. It provides one of these experiential paths. And we say practice because it's not so much a performance or a fitness, though it can be those things as well. We say a practice, a spiritual is setting aside regular time and space to explore our embodiment from the inner to outer koshas, the different layers of the self, the body, the breath, the mind, and then our inner core, our inner soulful self as well. Asana, the poses, such as tree, downward dog, very familiar. The first 2 preceding limbs are yamas and niyamas, which are moral principles and observances and self-restraints. So we've spoken a little bit about this in the past. Just a few of them, there's 5 each. But the first one, like step 1 is ahimsa. It's the one translated as non-harming or non-violence, kindness, in terms of our physical actions, but also in terms of restraint of our anger, trying to find a higher path. This is all ahimsa. Another one of the yamas is asteya, which is literally non-stealing. So it's kind of like you can think of like as a commandment, non-stealing, but it can also be non-manipulating to get your way. You think of the way that if you're acting, like it has nothing to do with what you do on the mat, but it also could be what you do on the mat. If you're manipulating your body, being overly forceful when that's not needed, or not, a way of dealing with your body and your muscles and your flexibility, but not by dominance, through cooperation. So asteya, if you're forcing things, then perhaps you're not going to have such a good outcome, and nobody likes to be dominated. So the place to start is with ourself. See where we're forcing our body. If we're holding our breath, a lot of self-observation here. Another one of the niyamas is tapas, self-discipline, putting firm effort, putting forth the effort toward a goal. So number 3, asana, already pretty familiar. Pranayama was the breath restraint, breath observances, restraint, discipline. You can see how all these words interweave together to give an experience. The next one would be pratyahara. And I'll just demonstrate that for 1 second, just how my teacher showed me. A lot of times we do this on the mat, or a modified for the chair, that we do like a modified child position. The idea of withdrawing from the external and really internalizing our focus. How this was demonstrated to me by my teacher about 10 years ago was the idea that you're cutting off the vision by placing your hands over your eyes. You put your thumbs over the flap of your ears, so you can gently block the exterior sounds, and press down on your nostrils with your pinky fingers on each side, very gently, so that you block out the outer world and really only hear the whisper of your breath. If you're breathing through your nostrils, it's only you and your breath. And it's a way of pulling back inside. You have to be in a safe and quiet environment. And so it's assumed that you've found a safe, quiet spot in India, perhaps on a mountaintop or in a cave. But for those of us, a quiet spot of the room, a comfortable cushion. And it's a way of interiorizing and going within. So I'll let you practice that one on your own. Dharana, we introduced last week, which are visualization exercises, or we did the sound of the bell, staring at a fixed point, the joy of seeing a friend after a long time, and dwelling on that joy and meditating on that. It's all things that spark, let's say, aha moments, where the your awareness kind of reflects back, returns to the source, and all leading to dhyana, which is a formal word for meditation, a formal meditation, where yes, we looked at a candle, or we've rang the bell, and then the silence after the bell, following it with our senses, with our ears, and then after a while there's nothing to hear anymore, and so then what's left there? It's just your own awareness. I could say which leads us into the next step, being samadhi, where the mind has turned back to its source and begins to experience what is below thoughts and breath and muscular action that we've done in the previous steps, where we enter a flow state, and we'd be able to kind of explore our own consciousness from within. And it connects with the idea that there's the innate human default state is of peace and contentment and joy and bliss, and that other more dramatic or negative qualities really can be polished and removed by the physical practices to get into that flow state of contentment, peace, joy, and maybe even bliss. These are all practice-based, so there's nothing to believe or to not believe. It's only to try and experience. So a key idea to yoga, a key theme is body as a temple. And so this was really interesting to me originally. Like, what do you mean? And so all of this gets us to witness our own behavior to our bodies. Like, really, do I really eat when hungry and sleep when tired? This is the easiest thing to say and the hardest thing to do, right? Do I get regular fresh air? Do I move my body every day? Do I take breaks? Do I attend to my own needs without judging that I'm weak or slow or I'm ashamed of myself or I'm too old for that or I'm too preoccupied? Like, to attend to our needs without judgment, as we would to a beloved pet or to a child. Like, you can take this these quiet times that we have lately and really start to create some tapas, some discipline, something where you have a routine and see if it serves you. That's my yoga challenge. So the body is a temple. Okay, visualizing towards this idea, because you can just say it. Oh, the body's a temple. Yeah, wonderful. But most of us perhaps need some more exploration of that idea. So if you can imagine yourself a tree in a sacred forest, the tree's leaves reach towards the sunlight. It needs rich soil, it needs fresh air. So, I mean, if it's true for the tree, it's very true for us, right? I mean, but we don't think of ourselves as this, and we get upset if we saw somebody like cutting down a sacred grove, beautiful old growth forest, we get very upset. But when we don't treat ourselves right, like, we don't get upset. We just think that's normal. So, let's think of the body also as a musical instrument with proper maintenance and storage and tuning. It's required. It's a discipline. It's a practice. It's sadhana, or it will sound off. You ever put your guitar, your piano not tuned? You know what I mean. So the well-tuned guitar is a source of joy for the musician and for those who hear the song. Yoga tunes us so we can be aligned in harmony with the inner self, the soulful self, and express ourselves in our lives with enthusiasm, with great health and vitality and enthusiasm. So, body is a temple. Just to sum up that idea, have a nice teaching story from my teacher's teacher from India. 10 yogis were crossing the river by boat. So as they reached the banks, they wanted to, do the right thing. So they wanted to count, make sure everybody was in attendance. So each one would get off the boat and count 9 people get off the boat. And then they said, well, no, you've made a mistake. So another one would come and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, only 9. And they each did this, and each one only counted 9 people. So they got upset, like, somebody's drowned. Oh, there goes ahimsa. Somebody's been hurt. Someone's drowned. Someone's been left behind. Oh no. But the moral of the story was, of course, that each one forgot to count themselves in. They didn't include themselves. So just from personal experience, sometimes it's the hardest place to set at your table is the place for yourself. Very easy to give to children and dogs and friends and but please count yourself in. So yoga provides different vectors to approach the self through observation and then accordingly self-care. I found this to be very empowering. The gym is closed. Well, you know what? I can do my asana on the mat, or I've set up a walking routine outside in nature. And then I come home and I do my meditation, whatever works for you. The empowerment of being centered. the idea that the waves are still coming. You're standing on the beach and the waves are like pushing at you. The idea, if you're buried in the sand of the teachings of yogic wisdom, buried up to your knees or your upper thighs, the water is going to come and the waves are pound, but you're still very, very steady, and you're not displaced. You may sway a little bit. You're still going to feel, the ups and downs, but you're really resilient and centered. And yoga helps us to honor the spark within us amidst our strengths and limitations, and we all have them. And it's not to say like you're going to be emotionless or or I don't know, but it helps us to honor our own personal spark. And with this recognition, we can also, it helps us to see not only the suffering and the struggling that we go through is the same is true for others. So we see and note their suffering with compassion, and we're better able to see their innate divinity as well, their own spark within. So I think it's time to practice. I think that was the end of the PowerPoint. Thank you. Let's drop into a little practice before our time is up. And I'm just going to position myself a little bit wider. Just so we're centered. Take yourself a nice seat. If you need to be comfortable, if you don't already have a comfortable blanket to put under your sit bones or under your feet, I'm putting it under my feet so I'm not on the cold floor. The idea to accommodate yourself and support yourself with a prop, sweater, comfortable seating. Make sure that you set the table for yourself. Feel your sit bones under yourself, the base of your hips, and draw yourself up nice and tall. Place your hands to your heart. Do 3 ohms. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Feel free to let it ring out or stay on mute. It's your choice. Om. Om. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Relax your arms. Breathe in. Extend the body with the in-breath. Drawing your hands right up, fingertips to the sky. Exhale. Release. As you release the breath, release the arms. One more time, breathe in. Thumbs behind, right up by your ears. Exhale. Release. Draw your head to one side. Just gently give a little shrug. Just to warm up. Get rid of any tension, muscular contractions from leaning over the books or the laptop. And come back to center. Switch, gently guide the head, very delicate part of the body. And give a little shrug on the opposite shoulder. Come back to center. Let's draw the right arm up This time right by the ear. Pat yourself on the back, keeping the elbow pointed to the ceiling. Open up. Take a deep breath. Release. Just draw ourselves out of our regular posture, whatever that is. Just good to move a different way. Pat other arm. Point the elbow up. Pat yourself on the back. See if you can walk those fingertips down behind your neck. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Then both arms at the same time. Bring them up. Cross them behind you. One hand on each shoulder. Just take a few breaths in this position. Inhale up. You can switch the hands to the other side. And reach back. You can gently press the back of the skull into the forearms so you get a nice opening in the back of the neck. Breathe in, stretch up. Exhale, release. Nice and slow. Release of arms, release of tension, release of breath all together. Bring your hands to your chest. Anjali Mudra. Do a modified Surya Namaskar. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold front, either with front support on your hands on knees, or if you're okay to put your abdomen on your knees. Inhale, flat back, extend the spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sit up and extend your arms. Then put your shoulders deep in their sockets and pull your elbows right back by your ribs. Placing your hands on your thighs or on the edge of the chair. Inhale, arch, open the heart space, head back. Exhale, round the spine. Rocking to the front of your sit bones, the back of your sit bones. Inhale, back. Forward stretch, exhale. Come on down. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, fold just a little bit deeper. You can allow the head to hang down. Just with its own weight, relieve the tension. Just get a nice gentle inversion there. And on your next breathing in, in breath, rise up, up, up. Come on back to where we started. Reaching for the sun. Find the midline of your body with your hands. And come back to the heart. And release. Now we're already sitting with our knees nice and straight. So let's go into Dandasana. As if you're doing a leg extension on the chair, you might have to move your sit bones towards the back of your seat cushion and have a good leg extension. So it's just making your body into an L. So your legs are straight and engaged and your arms are overhead. So you're engaging your triceps, stretching up tall. Your spine should be tall, rooting down with the sit bones. Inhale, pulling yourself to your full majestic height, as if a golden thread is pulling up through the crown of your head and engaging the thighs, pulling the toes back, making those muscles work in the front. Exhale. Release the effort. Come back down. Shake it off a little bit. One more time. Inhale, engage. So Really stretch those legs out in front of you. Add the arms. Feel your sit bones under the chair and really try to get some space in those lower vertebrae with a big breathe in, pulling yourself right up. Exhale, release the legs, the shoulders. Also note any release in your jaw muscles, muscles around your eyes, just from making the effort and then noticing that you don't have to squeeze anymore. It's a nice discernment to just feel the difference of making an effort and then the release that comes right afterwards. Let's go into a gentle twist, just with feet planted firmly right in front of your hips. Inhale, tall, zip right up with the spine. Exhale, just cross the midline, hand to opposite knee, and look over the back. Start small. Just pull yourself around. And inhale back to center. Just restabilize for a second. Then inhale tall once again. Zip it up. Cross the midline. Look over the back shoulder as you let all the air out. Provide just a gentle bit of leverage. But don't allow your sit bones to twist and your hips to lift up. And back to center. Let's do it with a little bit more. You can cross one leg over the other. I've done left over right. And you can put your arm across the knee. And the other arm up on the back of the chair. If this is comfortable for you. If it isn't, please keep to your own range of motion. You can always just repeat the previous step. Go just a little bit deeper. Opening, trying to open the whole body to the side. If you can bring your torso at a right angle to your legs facing forward. But without gripping, you can rest on the back of the chair, but without gripping. With each in-breath, a little taller, and each exhale, a little more micro twist. Inhale, unwind, literally unwind, unwind the legs back to the center. Body likes to be centered again. Other side, cross it over. Engage opposite arm, opposite leg. Open up. Keep the sit bones planted. And use that arm to gently have a good turn to the opposite wall. With your knees still pointing forward. See if you can get to like a knot facing 90 degrees away from your knees. And on your next inhale, unwind, come back to center, unwind the arms, unwind the legs, and reposition yourself, be comfortable. One more twister, just to create the brain. Something interesting we've done before is the Garudasana, the Eagle. So just building on what we just did, doing right over left legs, but twist them up as much as possible where you're engaging the other behind. Hope you can see. Where you really do the full wrap as comfortable. If not, you can just cross your legs, that's fine. And then the opposite, right over left leg, then left over right arm. So see if you can cross at the elbow and do back to back of the hands or front to front, almost in an Anjali Mudra. See where you can go with it. But the idea that your elbows are nestled, when you take your inhale, you've created a nice big open back space to really focus the breath and send it into all the space that's been created by stretching your arms in this position. So we're a little contracted in the front, but the back body can take in some oxygen in new places, new feelings. Deep inhale and then release with the exhale. Unwind the legs, the arms, other side, left over right with the bottom half, and right over left with the top. A way to take us out of our habitual patterns, our habitual postures. It's really hard to slouch in this position. I mean, you can try, but maybe you can squeeze your abdomen, but your back and shoulders will thank you later because they're in a different position. The muscles are being used in a different way, being energized. Breathe in deeply. One more deep inhale. And then release. Unwind. Until we're back in the center. And readjust your posture. Lift and position yourself so that you're comfortable. We could do a little bit of Nadi Shodhana, again with the fingertips. Take your Vishnu Mudra and you can place it and toggle between your nostrils. If your hands are clean, if your hands are not clean, you may get some hand sanitizer or take a little bathroom break, that's okay, wash out. Idea is that we compress the nostrils and just rebalance the way that we breathe and the way our brain interacts. And there's an effect in yogic philosophy on the subtle body as well, the nadis. So breathe in on the left. At the pause, just hold as you toggle your fingers. Breathe out on the right. Breathe in on the right. Toggle the fingers. Breathe out on the left. Breathe in on the same side. Switch fingers. Breathe out on the left. Breathe in. Pause at the top of the inhale. Switch out. Nice, slow, easy breath. So continue at your own pace for another round or two. Breathe in. Pause. Breathe out. One more time in. And finish the last cycle on your left nostril, letting all the air out. And then releasing your arm, place it in your lap. Give a few shrugs. Mm-hmm. We were introduced to pratyahara a little bit earlier this evening, but we'll just do like a modified child for this. So the idea that taking your hands and placing your fingertips above your eyebrows, just the little notch, And just withdrawing, you can even bring in your elbows to your chest and just rest yourself with your hands cupped over your eyes. Just the idea, like when we put our forehead on the mat and feel supported. It's okay to just let go and just experience feeling instead of applying words and analysis all the time. And take a little break and just withdraw. And place your hands in your lap if you need any support for your meditation. Perhaps a little blanket or shawl. We can place our hands in the chin mudra or dhyan mudra, where we fold them in our lap. So do what's natural for you. If you're doing chin mudra, should we place the palms down? If it's in dhyan mudra, one on top of the other, upward in our lap. So find one position that's comfortable for you. And we imagine that we're entering the sacred grove. We can use our imagination, a beautiful stand of trees. And we're one of them, we're one among many. We're there to provide shade to others, but we also must be nurtured ourselves. We have a right to have our own sunlight and fresh soil, our own personal space. We can imagine the body as a temple, if we can, and the breath being the path that leads us there. Our own natural human breath on which we so vitally depend. And it's also so invisible in our day-to-day life. So just draw your attention, softly close your eyes if you haven't already. Draw your attention within. You can feel the fluctuations of your big muscular diaphragm moving up and down. Your ribs expand and deflate. Your heart beats. Have a few moments of wordless feeling, just with an open mind and curiosity. And if our mind wanders, as minds often do, direct it back to the breath. Where's the thread of the breath? And you catch it again. Or you can integrate it with the Soham mantra. Sometimes it's nice to have something definite to take with us on our journey to the inner temple. So you can breathe So on the exhale and hum on the inhale. You can say the syllables in your mind Or if you have a mantra from your own tradition or teacher, this is fine, you use that. Hamsa just reminds us of our own natural syllables resounding over and over again, automatically, naturally. We follow the mantra, the syllables, the breath, it's all interconnected. The path to the temple. And the altar, I would place the human heart, the compassionate heart, the loving heart. Slowly become mobile. Shrug your shoulders. Take a deep breath in and out. Rub your hands. And place the own heat that you generated on your eyes with your fingertips and your hairline. Just send that heat, that energy right into your eyes and down to your heart. As you slowly emerge from your cocoon, or go right to the heart directly. Just feel the warmth of your own connection with purpose, with compassion, with what's sacred to you. And draw your hands to Anjali Mudra. Place them there. Bow to your own heart. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peacefulness of the heart. For you, for me, for those around us. Namaste. Thank you for a lovely practice.